What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here around One Sports Talk. I am your host, Edwin. Let's get this show started and let's talk about all the topics and everything happening in boxing. As you join the live stream, let me know that you hear me loud and clear. All right, let me just get situated here. Put up your chats. All right. We're going to talk about a lot of things here that is happening and transpiring here in the sport of boxing. There's just a lot of uh things going on, Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia, what this means for the sport, what what does this mean for Devin Haney's look, and what does this mean for Ryan Garcia? We're gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna allow a few of you to join the live stream, and also talk about the fights last night. What'd you think? About uh Mayer's performance last night. First of all, it was an awesome fight. That was a great fight, a female boxing match. Uh, we could talk about that and break that down. Bruce Carrington fought last night, and what did you think about his performance overall? What did you see in the fight? So we're gonna get into that. How did young Xander Zion look last night in his performance? So these are all things that I want to talk about. So while you come in, let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from if you want. And let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, most importantly. So let's talk about the fights last night before we get into this Devin Haney debacle here. Well, I actually wanted to touch on something real quick about this Devin Haney situation, right? I woke up this morning, my man Fanon was on and shit, right? And like, I like Fanon. He has a great channel, and I get on and stuff, right? But I guess I must be newer to like this YouTube shit, right? Because it seemed like, I just wanted to kick it with him, right? And at the end, he thought that I was trying to like bait him into like get a clip or something, right? I guess I guess he had has a lot of people do that, or people have done it, and that's not really what I wanted. I wanted him to like answer the question and just get his thing, and then say to him like, you see how silly this shit all is, and how it sounds, and how it sounds for boxing, and try to get him like to see like, I feel what he's saying about it, and like a lot of people, but look at the look that it's giving boxing. I mean, that's what I was getting. But it seems like he's always on the defensive with like everybody that come on, because everybody's, I guess, is protecting their own channel, don't want to get out talked on their own platform. So I kind of get where he was coming off. So I didn't take it like, like personal or anything, but it was like, I was trying to have like a real conversation with him, but everything has to be like a debate. If you go on anybody else's platform or whatever, it has to be like, so I get it. I'm like, but I meant nothing bad by it or anything. Just chopping it up. I didn't want to be right or wrong. I wasn't looking to be right or wrong. I was just sharing a viewpoint, on his show and shit, and just like, talking up the sport. That's all. That's all. But I get where he's always like on a defense. Like I try to make like a reference and like draw up a point to, to prove that Ryan Garcia didn't have intent, because to intent to place body salt and battery on somebody, right? You had to like either willingly know that you were going to hit that person. I mean, that's the law. And then you're going by the New York law because it happened in New York City. So all the laws from the boxing athletic committee, it's going to fall under their jurisdiction. So you're going to have to go by where you fought at, which is New York City, right? So what I try to say to him was, you know, the difference between the two men, that Devin Haney was informed of the 3 pounds overweight in the contract, and then they broke that contract and they came up to a new one and they drew it up, right? When they drew up the new contract, Devin Haney then said, okay, I'll still go ahead with the fight, because he wasn't going to back out of all the millions of dollars, everybody that came out to see the fight, because he came in 3.5 pounds overweight. When he was informed, he said the 3.5 pounds ain't going to save you, Ryan. I'm going to whoop your ass no matter what, leading into the fight. So you can't agree to something and then after you lose say, oh no, he cheated, right? And use that as one of the things. At this point, because of the lawsuit, they're not using that anymore. But at the time, they were. At the time, that's what he was yelling. You know, him and his father, that he cheated and that Floyd told him purposely to come in and overweight. That was the initial argument before the PE scandal broke, right? Okay. So when he went into it, my point is that he was aware of everything and he agreed to everything. He still went along with the fight. All the changes that were put, the title was no longer on the line. Win, lose, or draw, he remained champion. And as we all know, Devin Haney should have stood to lose that belt, even though, because he competed at 140. So the contract was written up that win, lose, or draw, he don't lose it. So all these things, he knew about it. That's all I was saying. The difference between Ryan Garcia is, his case is, what they got to prove is that he had intent, he knew about it, he was aware about it, he still went along with the fight. And as a boxing, this is a slippery slope, a real slippery slope. If you allow Ryan Garcia to win this lawsuit, that's going to open up a lot of, it'll probably ruin boxing. And you mean to tell me anytime somebody commits a foul or something, now he headbutted, you got a gash, your eye will never be the same type shit, you're going to sue this dude? Now that what are we going to do? Like, have every fighter sign a contract and say whatever happens in the ring, now you got to sign this type shit? Like, to allow Devin Haney to do that, and then the look that he's getting behind all of this, the look that Devin Haney is getting, like, in a sport that, you know, we're fighters, we're warriors. What are we doing in a courtroom? You know, there were a lot of guys that throughout the course of the years in boxing have tested positive for a banned substance. The other person didn't take that person to court. They paid a penalty. There's also a thing called kind of like, but I know it's in criminal, where it's like, it's a law called double jeopardy, meaning they already found me guilty. They already punished me. I already paid sanctions. And now you want to sue me. And this is where this world has gotten, where that they're allowing you to be sentenced on something now and be sued for money on top of it. It's no more just, you know, they sentence you. They can still come after you for your money. They can come after you for whatever now. And is this where the fans in boxing want to be at? We want to be at our TV screens watching a live feed of the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney case. That's what you want, Devin? I mean, Devin's trying to say, like, his life is shit right now because of Ryan Garcia getting so much more money than him when Ryan Garcia tested positive. So he's salty, right? And I get it. But now, if you allow this to happen, Next thing you know, he's going to sue Tank Davis for calling him an email champion and ruining all the money he did to Devin Haney when he did do that into him, in fact. Tank Davis called Devin Haney the email champion. Yo, his stock dropped. Nobody wanted to fight him because they didn't consider him a good contender. They didn't consider him a real champion. Devin Haney had to fight like 3 or 4 fights. Remember that? To try to bring back up his stock. You know? And then Devin Haney's like hiding behind this persona that was 23 years. I'm 23 years old and I become undisputed world champion and blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of like, don't look behind the curtain with Devin Haney's career. You know, because if you think about it, you got emailed 1 belt and you beat 1 guy for 3. So your run and your claim to undisputed status, you basically beat 1 guy. I understand he defended that WBC world title after he got it emailed to him. He didn't went right from the email right to straight to George Camboza. No. So he went in the ring and he solidified himself as a world champion. So I got to give him that. It's just if history goes back and they go back to the pages, they're going to see this. It's going to be true. He basically beat 1 guy. So because he didn't beat no champion for that WBC world title. He just beat contenders and guys that they brought up. So nobody really wanted to fight him for it. They didn't consider him a champion because Devin Haney said that. And that's like, you know, defamation of character type shit. All the money Devin Haney lost from that one-liner that Tank, he ruined him. He ruined him. So now what are we doing here, Devin? If you win this, bro, you're going to open the door for all that. Boxing's going to go to shit. You're single-handedly going up against, and I don't think the powers that be are going to allow this. What you think? Boxing doesn't have lawyers? Boxing don't have no people? There's no judges in the world that go to boxing matches. There's not boxing high political fans that love Muhammad Ali and the sport and would love to be front side at the next whatever champion they deem. You're going to go against boxing, Devin Haney. I guess they haven't taught you enough lessons. Maybe you lost a lot of money in that little carnival thing. Now you feel Ryan Garcia is responsible for that. Because if Ryan Garcia didn't test positive and whoop your ass, now in your head, you don't think that altercation happens. Now you feel like you're going to sue him to get back that money you probably lost. And all this is due in part to you, Devin Haney. These are all the wrong moves you made. You're the one that did this. You need to check yourself and your side of the street, Devin Haney, and take responsibility for what you do. You're too much focused on what Ryan Garcia looks like making money. You're trying to count his pocket. And since you can't get it back in the ring and nobody's boxing promoter is making bids on your fight, you figured what? I'm going to go get it out of Ryan Garcia's pocket? The money you're about to invest in lawyers, and if you lose, every move you made since the time you walked in the ring with Ryan Garcia that you didn't prepare for that fight because of your lack of training and discipline, Devin, you know you weren't ready for that man. In the first round, the first exchange, the left check hook that you so much went on TV and said, Ryan Garcia, all you are is a left check hook. You mean to tell me the very first exchange, whap, you get caught with a left hook? What were you working on? Devin Haney, you need to take accountability for your side of the street. And because you can't sleep at night for why didn't you perform and why everything went wrong for you, you came to the conclusion with your dad, with your entire team and your lawyers to sue Ryan Garcia. That's what you said to yourself. You know what? An epiphany. I'm going to sue him. Oh, just about 5 days before the lawsuit came out official, they asked him on some show when Devin Haney came out and was talking. I forget who he was talking to. And they asked him, are you going to sue Ryan Garcia? And he said, we'll see. And he smiled. Meaning, I'm not sure if he just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to sue Ryan Garcia. Or was he thinking of this and going it over with his people and, and then finally pulling the trigger after days of thinking about it? Is that something that you think that you would be up with your lawyer, maybe your pops, your team? You think that would be something you guys would be talking about? I would believe so. I would believe so, right? So he knew he was going to do this. Look, they could say what they want to him. Yo, listen, you're going to get criticism. Just stay off the social media platforms. You won't hear it, right? Just because you don't hear it, Devin Haney, and you turn off your phone doesn't mean it's not happening. If this is listen, you're banking on the fact that you think what's going to happen. Let's say you take Ryan Garcia to court. Let's say you're victorious and they were to award you X amount of dollars for whatever, right? What are you going to do after that? This is going to have your attention. You're obviously not going to be in the ring fighting, right? By the time this is all said and done in court, I can guarantee you that year is going to be up for Ryan Garcia. You know where you're going to put yourself? In a real peculiar situation. Because then you're going to have young Ryan Garcia mad as hell that you sued him, talking shit all over social media of how much of a bitch you are because of the fact that you had to take him to court. Now the people are going to be clamoring over the rematch. Now it's one or two things going to happen here in this sequence. I can't speak for both men, but let me give you both sides. What if Ryan Garcia says, you know what, Devin? I'm not going to help you no more. You sued me. You took me to court. And under those terms, I no longer want to do business with you. I don't want to fight you. You can call me a duck. You can call me whatever you want. But you know what? Go make your money by yourself. I'll be just fine. I'll go do me. Ryan Garcia turns around and walks away from Devin Haney. From that point on, fine. You got the lawsuit money? Keep it. Rub it on your chest. I don't need you to sell tickets, Devin Haney. You need me. You sued me, right? It's not about anymore whether to prove to the world who can beat who. You know what? Check it out. I'm cool with the outcome. You got it overturned? Go that way. I'm going to go this way. That's one way it can go, right? Or Devin Haney can be coming off the lawsuit over suing Ryan Garcia. They reschedule the fight because now you got to get it back in blood. And Ryan goes out there and beats the shit out of Devin Haney really bad under heavy scrutiny of steroid testing. Comes in the night, normal as hell, just like Devin, and the same thing happens. Devin eventually gets caught. Ryan's too big, too strong for him. Devin doesn't have enough punching power to back him off. Beats the brakes off of him. That's one scenario. That's one scenario. That's the two side scenarios for Ryan. Now, if Devin Haney was to come in and pull a major upset, right, and beat Ryan Garcia, let's say Devin comes in and he says, I try to tell y'all it was because of the steroids, this and that. Now he's going to try to put credibility on that. But he's going to need Ryan in order to do that. He needs Ryan in the ring. Without Ryan, he's going to go down as never beating Ryan. You might have beat Ryan in the lawsuit, got it overturned, all of that shit. That's not going to take away what we saw on that night. That's never going away. We saw it. Devin Haney will be criticized for that for the rest of his career unless he fights Ryan. But if I was Ryan, I'd really think about that. You sue me now. I promise you, we will never do business again. I don't care how many times you jump on a mic, try to say that I'm avoiding you. I'm not fucking with you because you'll bring me to court. You're calling the cops. You're going to go get your mom after the fight after school. You're not good business. You know, if Ryan Garcia is telling the truth, he's telling Devin, damn it, Devin, I can't figure out how the fuck this shit got in my system, bro. I can't. And he's really telling the truth, too. What if he really cheated? It's a lot of scenarios, right? The only one scenario is what I could go by, which are facts. They tested him. They brought back the amount that was in his system. They made it public information. You can go check the amount in his system. Then you just go do your own homework. Go read up what that PE specifically does. How long would you have to take it to have effects? That's it. When they go to court, they're going to call in professionals. The professionals are going to read off exactly what that drug, not any PE that you have fantasized in your mind. Not something that you're saying, no, all of a sudden this guy had this much, it turned him into Incredible Hulk. No. The professionals are going to get on the stand and they're going to testify to the blood work. See, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Numbers don't lie. Whatever was in his system, not my opinion, not yours, not what you believe. These experts are going to get on the stand and they're going to dissect this. Right? They're going to determine on that drug how much he had in his blood and what were the effects to it and what would they be. The pros are going to be able to answer that. And I guarantee it, I have never, and I mean never, in my life ever heard of any drug that you can take the day before the fight and turn you into Muhammad Ali. I don't know of such a magic wand or a pill. Please tell me what it is, because if there is one out there, I'm taking it. I'm going after the world championship right now. Where do you find this miracle drug that turned you into the superior fighter with what he took? I'm just going by the Ostrine. He didn't have anything else in his system. What is the effects of it? I could retain muscle, lose weight. None of that makes you it doesn't give you better reflexes. It doesn't. You just might have a couple extra pounds. It didn't make him faster. Didn't give him eye-to-eye coordinations. Anything. Like, you see, if you took a PE and he had that freaking PE in his system that was for like eye-to-eye coordination, fuck you, Ryan. Bro, that you can kill a man with that shit. That right there, bro. Let me tell you something right now. That is some grind ball shit. If you did that to my son, and I know exactly what PE that is, you take that eye-to-eye coordination shit, you would hit me so many times in that fight, you should have never hit me. You would have never had the skills to pull that off. it basically almost slows time down for you, and you see everything like this big. And you see these guys just punching accurate as fuck, not missing anything. They're on that shit. Yeah, they are. When the last fight, they couldn't hit a fucking balloon this big. Yo, that eye-to-eye shit, yo, that's deadly. That is deadly. That is like some super shit. I've heard about a lot of guys that have taken it. I personally never took it. I never had to. I was never a pro. I didn't have no reason to pay that much money for that shit, right? But they got a PE for everything. If you, man, listen, that you want a thin weight, bulk up, they got a PE for every single. You want to be faster, track, swim. They got you. There's thousands of them, thousands. So these professionals are gonna go on. They're gonna break this down. Now, what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna award Devin Haney a dollar amount because, to how much he was on or whatever. So, because it doesn't exclude Ryan Garcia's innocence that he can't prove it. Just because you can't prove it, shit, that don't make you innocent. You still had this shit in your system. That's unfortunate to you. So, but the tricky thing about this entire thing is they didn't actually suspend Ryan Garcia for that. That's where his lawyers are going to come in and argue. Now, both sides are going to have their day in court. I'm not a lawyer here, and I believe both sides they're going to have their, but this is going to unfold ugly for boxing, for Devin Haney. Nah, man, you lost it in the ring. You got to get it back in blood. And this is this perception that Devin Haney and his father portrayed Devin as like this thug. Now thugs are taking you to court. It looks like Devin Haney is running a campaign, Hug for Thugs. That's what kind of thug he is. Hug for thugs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo, bro. How many gangsters take you to court, bro? How many, thugs like his father, Bill Haney's out there running a campaign about how he in the streets and how he 50-0 undefeated in the streets. And you going to court, my man, Bill, just get your son proper training and get it back. All this wasted time, all this wasted energy of doing everything but fight. That's not where your son went wrong, my man. Like, how can you be this, portray this, oh, Floyd this, how I'm undefeated in the street shit. Oakland, baby. And Oakland's watching this unfold. Oh, you fuck with the Haneys, they're bringing you to court. Like, and then his father's telling him, we ain't in the streets no more, son. This is how you do things up in here, up in Beverly Hills. You can't always be in the street. I get it, Bill. I get what you're trying to gas your son up to, but that's not the perception, and that's not the image that you're in. You're in a tough man sport where we fight. You ain't dunking no basketball or pitching no ball 100 miles per hour. No, you ain't scoring no goals. You gotta fight. You gotta fight for what you earn in this sport. So his approach, I mean, it's just my opinion. Devin Haney's gonna do Devin Haney what he wants. And that's just the truth. His career is in his hands. What moves he makes, I can't tell him to do anything, but that shit is, it's just not a good look. What are you guys saying here? What do you guys think? Mark, what up? Yeah, on that podcast show, All the Smoke with Andrew, when he was sitting back and he was talking about it and everything, Ryan looked way sharper and in shape against Tank. Yeah, well, yeah. Damn, bro. Phnom booted you off like that. That guy was crazy, bro. Yeah. Nah, he's always like, Fanon's always like, you could see that he's always like on the defense. He always thinks like you can't have like a conversation with him because he's thinking like you're trying to outsmart him or lure into something to make him look stupid. Because I'm pretty sure there's been people that have tried that with him. So whenever somebody comes up that just really just, just kicking it with him, right? He got all defensive. He was just like so like wound up on it, right? And I let him talk when he was going. All I was doing was like telling him, look, the difference between the dudes. And he took it, no, the contract, and went into this whole spill about the contract thing when I was like, that's not where I was going with that. I was just trying to show you the difference between the two dudes, right? Then at the end, I just wanted him to give me like I knew this is what he was talking about, but I wanted him to like, I wanted to show him like, yo, my man, like, see how foolish we sound about this? Look what this is doing to boxing, like that type shit. And I could see where like he was like, oh, I'm not gonna be like a what do you say, like a commercial for you or whatever. And that threw me back. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, commercial? So what the fuck is he talking about, right? And he got like, oh, I'm not gonna be like, and then he boom, right? I was like, what the fuck just happened, right? So, and then I thought about it. I was like, oh, he was real defensive. He was never hearing me. He was just debating me. He thought I came on as somebody that was gonna challenge him. I was just merely speaking of scenarios. The whole entire time he was on defense. I was just trying to give a viewpoint. And he was trying to make it like we were in a debate. I was like, wow, Fanon, like no one can come up here and just kick it with you, just talk. No, he was so, by all the previous guests that I was like, all right, whatever, you know. But yeah, I like Fanon, bro. He's pretty cool. He gets a little wound up and shit. He gets crazy sometimes. He starts booting people off. He starts swearing at people and shit, right? But he's a staple for for boxing. He does the same thing I try to do. So I respect him in that aspect and shit. And I always like going on and talking with other people that know about the sport. But yeah, he was all wound up. And he was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Now, anyway. Yeah, 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 yeah. But listen, what do you guys think about those fights last night and Mayer, right? I think she fought a great fight, man. But before we get into the Mayer fights, let's talk about the undercards. Let's talk about the undercard. Bruce Carrington last night. If you saw my live, if you haven't had a chance, I encourage you to go back and check out my live. While I was watching the fight, I was actually calling the entire Bruce Carrington fight. You're gonna get my live reaction of what I thought. At the time. I haven't had time to go back and watch the fight again, and I would like to go do that because Bruce Carrington. I think last night was kind of exposed. If you really, think about it, because you finally put up a guy that had boxing skills, not superior boxing skills, not really great boxing skills, but he had enough understanding about boxing that he was doing certain shit, and the fact that he utilized that he was a lefty, quite well, it gave Bruce Carrington a lot of problems. And the good thing that came out of the fight, it also showed Bruce Carrington's flaws. He brought that out of Bruce Carrington, and he kind of got him to get out of pocket where Bruce was making awkward steps. He wasn't even stepping right with the jab in some instance. Um, he looked lost in some points in the fight. He didn't utilize no kind of jab in the entire fight. He would throw it sometimes, but he wasn't working with it. He wasn't trying to enter with it. He wasn't working no angles. Bruce, all he was doing was trying to hit him with like one punch. Bruce thought that if I just hit you, I'm going to be able to knock you out. He didn't have the awareness in the ring to recognize this guy is not a rookie. He's not like all the other guys I fought. He's not going to fall for this. He's not going to stay in the pocket. This dude was moving. Sulaiman was moving. He was popping his jab out there, and he was the one using combinations. And Sulaiman wasn't all that great as an opponent neither. It wasn't like he was in there doing the most spectacular shit. No, right? But he understood some things, and he was applying his game plan. He was comfortable in front of Bill Boo Boo Schuster Carrington, and he caught him early in the fight that I actually saw Bruce Carrington stumble. He was like this. I was like, oh shit, he hurt him. So he was showing Bruce Carrington, number one, I'm not scared of you. Number two, I'm here to fight. And he stood his ground against, and it's like Bruce got like arrogant in the fight. He was like, in a sense, you didn't get the memo, you're supposed to lose, dude. And this guy's like, nah, I didn't get that memo. And the fight started to slip away from Bruce Carrington. I'm watching the fight. I'm in the fourth round, and I'm like, in my life, I'm like, man, this shit could be 3-1. It could be 2-2. I'm still trying to have confidence for the young man. And I'm trying to like, come on, Bruce, like talk him up. Like, come on, Bruce, man, right? And at some point in the fight, I found myself saying, damn, Bruce, not like this. To catch a loss like this, these are the fights and these are the tests you were supposed to pass. Every time we see you, you're supposed to be a better version of yourself. Why don't you look better tonight? Why didn't you use your jab? You didn't look well coached in this fight. Is money and the little bit of notoriety you're starting to get, is it getting to you? Or what we're seeing is another case of the Edgar Berlangas of the world. In fact, he was in attendance and there with all his change. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I lost the fight, but look at me. Bruce Carrington, you got to stay focused, and I got to speak the truth. You didn't look better last night. In fact, I saw that you couldn't even fight going to the right. I caught myself saying that, and I was like, damn, maybe I shouldn't be, but if I could see it, the world saw it. And I was just like, wow, he brought out so many flaws in Bruce Carrington last night that all that talk about Naoya Inoue, oh, I want Naoya Inoue, the top one. You're not ready for any of the top champions at 126, Bruce. I'm sorry, bro. Espinoza will destroy you. Robesi's not the champion. He will destroy you. Yes, he's not beating those guys. He's not beating Bell. He's not, man, listen. Look. Ball. Yeah, there's a problem there. There's a problem there. Bruce needs now more time, and he's already 27 years old, and he only has 12 professional fights. He fought in 1 year like 6 times. So a lot of those fights, he put together half of those fights in 1 year. He's 27 years old. I think Bruce Carrington has a problem with training or something. He tried to get up there in the weigh-in and try to like move his jaw like intimidationing the guy. This guy wasn't scared of you, bro. He had like that false, he was trying to like gas himself up. Like to get the guy scared of him and shit in the weigh-in and stuff. And like this guy wasn't going for it. He was there to fight. So Bruce, you need work, my man. Your performance was C+ at best, low B-. if you can't beat and knock out impressively this kind of guy, one judge had it 95-95, a draw. I think that, he's going to need some work. Now, speaking of another guy that was on the fight card, young Xander Zion. Now, just like I said about Bruce Carrington, every time you see your fighter, you're supposed to see a better version of that fighter, right? Okay. Xander Zion came out last night and showed that he's in the gym working. You can see his hard work. You can see where Xander Zion, what he's been working on, his form, everything. His defense was better. His cardio was better. He scheduled a 10-round fight, and this was a guy leading into this fight. They were saying this guy, he throws a lot of punches, way more punches as young Xander Zion per round. His pressure is going to be too much for young Xander Zion. And this is going to be his biggest test to date, in which, in fact, they were saying Xander Zion had potential of losing this fight. Coming into the fight, they were saying they didn't know how Xander Zion was going to deal with his pressure. That they didn't know when Sosa, right, with X amount of punches on average. So young Xander Zion comes in and he shuts all that shit down. And you can hear the commentators. I was hearing them, right? And they were saying, oh, by the middle of the fight, Sosa's not punching the amount of punches per round, and he doesn't look like himself. This is not a good performance from him. And he's gonna look back at, and I'm like hearing this, and I'm saying, and instead of saying what's really happening, right? The reason why he doesn't look like himself, or he's not throwing up, because Xander Zion was taxing that ass. Yo, he was popping that jab all night. He stood disciplined to the game plan. You can see Xander Zion. He was at the right distance. He was utilizing. He didn't let him in to be able to throw that volume of punches. He actually made him look bad. Instead of saying Xander Zion was doing good work, they try to say this guy was having an off night. What? No, he wasn't having an off night. That guy was in the best shape of his life. Xander Zion went in there and outboxed him. He outfought him when he needed to. He was more efficient with his game plan, and he put it to work. But these guys are going to go and say that, oh, no, he's just having a bad night. Xander Zion is looks good. He's doing good work, but, he's also getting help in here because obviously this guy's having a bad night. Nah. Instead of saying that Xander Zion rise to the occasion and he proved to the world that he just went up a level. Just like he said at the end of the fight. He said, I knew I was there, but now I know I'm on that level. I'm at the next level. There's levels to this. And he proved to himself. The guy didn't win, if you ask me, well, no, the guy, he won one round, I think, right? 2 rounds, was it? I didn't think he won a lot of rounds, right? But I think, yeah, I remember going in anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He got his ass whooped, right? So, Xander Zion, man, I like the fact that he showed a lot of maturity in the sport of boxing. I like the fact that he, there was a lot of questions coming into, him being hit a lot. At the end, he did get clipped He got a little wild, restless. But that's when you want to see that your fighter has that eye of the tiger. A fan pleasing fighter. He had the entire fight in the bag. He could have sat back and coasted at any point in the fight like that. And those last rounds like that. He was winning this fights hand down, right? So, for him to go in and really exchange, it proves to himself, he knows he was going to take some punches and he was willing to do that. And he was trying to get the punches and knock this guy out. My man had an iron chin. He's never been knocked out before in his professional career. Young Xander Zion was trying to be the first man to stop him, and he went for it. And he gave this guy an opportunity, and the guy caught him. Xander Zion took the punch very well. So that it shows that he wants to be fan pleasing. He's just not here to get a paycheck and outpoint you and get a big lead, like fighters like Saul Canelo Alvarez, where Saul will get a big lead in the fight, and if he dropped you, Saul's trying to knock you out. But if Saul is like winning in the 9th, 10th round, like he convincingly, he'll coast. He'll coast. You're not gonna do no stupid shit to him neither, because if you come in, Saul's gonna give you something. And he kind of like lures you into the sense of take a moral victory of going 12 rounds with me, but you're not going to win this fight. And Saul will coast. And that's typically some guys, want to play it safe like that. And it's the right thing to why give this guy an opportunity, right? And then some fighters believe that no, fans paid their money, they hard-earned money, and to see blood, to see a knockout. That's what the fans paid for. They didn't pay for me to coast. And there's just some fighters that are like, nah, I want to be on ESPN, on that real knockout of the night. Boom. Yeah, I want my star status to go up. I fight to prove that I am the most dominant. And there are men that think like that. The Naoya Inoues, the Terrence Crawfords, the Tank Davises of the world. The Monster Benavideses, the Arthur Betorians. They are like, you know what I'm saying? These are knockout artists, guys, that they not sitting back. Like, oh, I'm coasting. No, they trying to knock you out for 36 minutes all night. So I like Xander Zion, man. How he's looking. Sky's the limit. Where he goes from here, we'll see. And then there was the main event of the night. Listen, I gotta admit, these girls were rock'em sock'em, baby. They were excited. Yo, them girls were excited. Yo, Sandy came out like, as between the two of them, Mare was the more technical of the boxers, right? I'm not sure if she was the harder puncher, right? But she was definitely the more technical. She was doing a little crafty, slick shit in there. She was hitting her up top, switching levels, going down to the body, circling out. Mare was doing some good things, but she couldn't keep the pressure of Sandy Ryan off of her. Sandy just kept coming forward, man. She was a dog. And those shots looked like they were like hurting Mare. And Mare took those shots well. She took them well. She fought like a warrior. I felt like Mare shouldn't have allowed her to get into these guns, battles, these slugfest. I believe that Mare was doing good work, working off the jab, moving back, hitting, resetting, but she had to move quick because Sandy would wait until she planted her feet. As soon as she planted her feet, she knew she was going to stand there, and Sandy went forward with her power. She would always let her get set, but as soon as Mare would act like she was going to set, but she would stay on the ball of her feet, and then she would pop the jab, and then she would move, she would make her look silly. Ryan would miss big and be awkward and couldn't catch up to her. And Mare would keep, but that's draining. That's exhausting to do. We're not robots. Mare is not a robot. Just because I could say it doesn't mean she could do that for 2 minutes, for 10 rounds, the entire night. It's not, no. So she was like, Mayor, you know, she was doing it. She was doing it, but that's taxing. That she had to keep something in the tank. And at times she had to sit there and exchange with her. She felt. I didn't feel like she had to. I felt like, you know, bluff your way a little bit, you know, set up more feints, exchange with her, boom, slip under, grab, pinch out, push off. Slip, 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 boom, grab, push, boom, off, right? Not just sit there, boom, 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 rock'em sock'em robot type shit. That's what Ryan wanted. That was right up her alley. And then Mayer started seeing, or I think inside at some point in the fight, she started saying these, you know, I'm getting tired and she's catching me. She's thinking to herself, I got power too. I just got to catch her. Right. And they started exchanging right there in the middle of the ring. You know, and they were going at it. They were like, bam, bam, bam. And I think there was a clash of heads in the fight. She had suffered a cut, a small abrasion right over the eye. I forgot if they awarded that as a punch or not. You know, because that goes into the point system. If the referee deems it a headbutt, they don't count that. You know, but a gash, blood, those are points in boxing. You can get a 10-8 round for that. Depending, like, yeah, and all the work you did in the fight. You know, you draw blood from me. Typically, I'm awarded by a punch, I'm going to win that round. So that's big. That's big because when some of these rounds were razor thin, you know, some of these rounds, I was like, wow. I was at one point in the fight, I was like, who the fuck is winning this fight? I was like, who, you know, I was like, well, the judges got a rough night, right? I wouldn't have been mad either way, but at the end of the fight, I thought, from what I saw, you could be watching a different part of the fight. I thought Mayer did the better work. And when the final bell rang, I felt like Mayer won the fight. I was like, wait a minute, she won this fight. I was like, but look, it was a great fight. I didn't get to watch the Bongard fight. I heard about it, something about it. I haven't had an opportunity to go there, check that fight out. I haven't even seen it yet. I don't even know who really won officially or what happened. I just heard something and I turned it off because I was like, no, I'm going to go back and watch it. So I don't want to know the result. So I was like, I'm going to go check it out anyway, see what's up. But I truly wanted to just come on yesterday because of the fact of the young prospects. This is when the prospects turn into contenders. And I understand that I still have to hold Bruce Carrington under those categories, but when he's up there and he's claiming, look, I'm a contender, my ranking is high, and we're like, yo, they're fast tracking you, young man. You're 27 years old. You're up there in age, but your body of work doesn't really. Sometimes some of these guys, can really start drinking their own Kool-Aid. And when you got all these people in your corner telling them, you're the best, son, you're the best. No one's on your level. There's nobody in your gym that's touching you. And you're like the man and stuff. It must be hard when you get a rude awakening and especially from some guy that's never been a world champion, okay? Doesn't have a belt. You're out here struggling. And in fact, some people might think you lost that fight. You lost that fight. You won that fight with controversy. And even you, my man, said it at the end of the fight. Bruce Carrington, go watch that interview after the end of the fight. He knew. So that's what kind of guy is bringing you there, you needed the Bob Arum to come bail you out. Yo, Bob, yo, they got me, dog. They got me. Yo, hit him with the envelope. Yo, I got no proof on that. I shouldn't be saying that, right? You know, it's a joke. It's a joke, right? But a lot of people don't think that he won the fight, including myself, right? He was given a gift, if you ask me. He needs to take this and smarten up and get his ass back in that gym and work on some shit. You know, Bob's not going to be able to protect you forever, son. I'll tell you that much right now. And the worst thing you want to do is be given this false pretense that you're that good. And then they end up putting you in with the champion and you get destroyed. You get the biggest rude awakening in your life. They've been telling you the whole time, you're him, you're him, you're him. And they've been sheltering you for certain kind of fighters and making you look good until one day they sell you out. Your own people that were putting you up there, they knew exactly what they were doing. And the day you get your biggest money grab, you think they're all behind you, but behind closed doors, all their money is on the other guy. They're not stupid. And they just bring you and dressed you up real nice. And this persona of a fighter that you're really not. Those are called hype jobs. And all of a sudden, you're in there with the number one guy. Your name's Edgar Berlanga, and you're fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez. Where do you think all the money went? You really think that his Ed Hearn said, you know what? Let me put my money on Edgar Berlanga. Where do you think Ed Hearn's money really went on? That's what they do to these dudes. They dress them up. They protect them from certain guys. They dress them up real nice. They get them knocking out these lackluster guys or retired champions or former world champions or, you know, and they get them real good, nice and pretty. Then they get them to fight Tank Davis. Then all of a sudden he's fighting Tank Davis. Where do you think all the money's going? You're damn right. And they're going to cash in. They're going to cash in on that ass. So that's the worstest thing to be you thinking, oh yeah, I'm the man. Look at my promotional company is getting these fights for me. I'm winning. You know, they advertising me well. Look what they saying about me. They got connection, top rank with ESPN. They slip a note to ESPN. ESPN says this about that guy. All of a sudden, he's the next thing since sliced bread. Yeah, and co-affiliation, top rank with ESPN, they boost that fighter right up. Oh yeah, all of a sudden, overnight, that guy's a killer. That Bruce Carrington was supposed to be on Naoya Inoue level. According to them, he'll fight him tomorrow and beat him. Not looking like that. And one thing about boxing, it will call you out. And they were like, damn, Bruce, we put you in the ring with this guy. We thought you were better than him. Damn, we might have to slow down. Even they found out something last night. There is no way on God's green earth Bruce is going to get in the ring with this man and survive. What's he think? He's going to apply that high guard and walk in like that with him? This guy would brutalize his ribs. He would destroy him. With that approach, he wouldn't last 3 rounds. And I said the magic word 3. I don't think he would last 1. I've seen better skilled guys go longer distance and get in other fights and everything and get knocked out by Naoya Inoue in 1 round. Payano was a former world champion. He got knocked out in like 60, 70 seconds. Emmanuel Rodriguez is a dog. 19-0. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez will beat the shit out of Bruce Carrington. 2 rounds. That's all he lasted. Donaire's a Hall of Famer. He was just as sharp. That version of Donaire beats Bruce Boo Boo Schuster. Yes, he does. And he knocked him out in 2 rounds. Well, 1 round, basically. He fought way better skilled dudes, bro. Jamie McDonald, the European champion, coming in at like 5'10", right? Never been knocked down in his career, was champion for 4 years. Naoya Inoue knocked him out in 1 round. You're going to convince me Bruce Carrington has he might not make it out that first round. Not fighting like that, man. Believe me, guys. I'm not gassing this Japanese dude up. I'm just telling you the truth and the facts. He's already knocked out way better skilled guys in 1 round. Destroyed them. He's not going to be able to hide behind that high guard, Bruce. That never works out for anybody he fights. Ex-Desmarines. Ex-Marlon, man, listen. Come on, man. You can't hide behind that high guard like that. And then he wasn't even doing it right. He would get destroyed. It's cool you could say it. It's cool to attach your name to a great one. But you're going to have to back that shit up, my man. And I don't think he can. Not against fighters such as Naoya Inoue. Hell no, bro. Hell no, man. This man wins 96% of all his rounds. What do you think he's going to do to Bruce Carrington? What do you think? He's just going to let him coast through the rounds? Naoya Inoue is the type of fighter that it will test you in the first 10 seconds of the fight. You better stay away from that man. Matter of fact, put some respect on Naoya Inoue's name, Bruce Carrington. I think that you got a real awakening last night, and hopefully you respect these guys more because you see how hard it is to even get past these kind of guys, and where you have to be to get these kind of guys before you start saying, yeah, I'm going to beat another champion in another weight division. You know, it's cool to boost your name up. I get it. You know, I don't see anything wrong in it, you know, but you do have to perform, you know. So, yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, what's up? All right. What do you guys? Ed, yo, what's up? Please, I'm going to hit that like button for me, guys. Show support to the channel. Take your time out and just drop that like for me. I would appreciate that. That's you're saying a lot here, right? Okay. Look, I gotta always bring up this, right? You can't please everybody in the sport of boxing. Naoya Inoue, unfortunately, is only one man, right? So when you talk about him avoiding Chocolito or avoiding the, you know, other people fights, you know, opinionated is that maybe Naoya Inoue at the time was no longer staying in those divisions. Maybe he had no intention on reigning supreme at 115. When he was at 115, he had 1 belt. He defended it 7 times. He was already looking forward to go up. And look where he's at today, that he has 4 weight divisions. When he probably never thought that it would be a possibility to unify all 4 belts. I mean, you say it as a young fighter coming up, But the odds that all the champions to agree to fight you are heavily against you because they're not obligated to fight each other. And that's been one of the biggest topics all over YouTube. That the fact that some fans say, nah, then why are you in the sport of boxing? Why did you get a belt if you don't want to fight the other champions and unify? That should be the dream of all champions. And that's not so. Rafael Gomez was a Puerto Rican champion. He had 32 fights up until this point in the 122 pounds. All 32 fights he won by knockout. He had 17 world title defenses. All 17 world title defenses he won by knockout. He has a 100% knockout ratio in his reign, right? He only had one belt. So is that guy a bum because he didn't unify any other belts? Maybe that wasn't his vision. He didn't want to unify. He was already a champion for one organization. He fought everyone in his division under that organization. All challengers that try to challenge his championship. He focused on his reign as champion. He had no desire to unify. No other champions wanted to fight him anyway. He was just a beast. You couldn't get the other guys to fight him anyway. So he focused on his belt. Is he a duck? No, there have been hundreds of champions that had just one belt. What are all the belts you see around this man? What are they? Every one of them. Mayweather is a prime example of that. Did you call Mayweather a duck in every division he's been in? Because he only got one belt? No, he's a world champion. They don't got obligations to each other. That's up to you. If I make you an offer, you can't refuse, and if you want it. Do you want to unify? The guy's like, no. Damn, I can't make you unify. So when Naoya Inoue was coming up, the odds of really unification were probably not that. And then when the opportunity started to occur at 118, then he saw real opportunity for trying to grab all these belts. Yo, he was shocked. And I mean shocked when Paul Butler walked in that ring and said, I want to test my skills against you. Naoya Inoue on that night won his third belt. And he looked over at Paul Butler and was like, yo, you got a fucking deal. Like, I'll give you a shot at my 3 for your 1. I'm putting up more, right? Paul Butler had an opportunity to change his stars, right? I couldn't believe Paul Butler took that fight. But money talks and bullshit walks, right? And some men have different visions. Paul Butler truly wanted to test himself and get an opportunity at all 4 belts. He was thinking about his own legacy. Everybody was telling him he's crazy for taking this fight. But Paul Butler said, man, I think I could beat him. Boy, was he wrong. Yo, he was wrong. He found out the hard way. So by the time Naoya Inoue moved up to 122, vacates the belt after 30 days, goes up to 122, he has this thing about, oh shit, look at this little Japanese dude moving up to our weight division, right? And he, it's truly, his stars were lined up just right. Right place, right time. Everything had to line up for this guy. And it did. It did. One guy had 2 belts, and the other guy didn't shy away with the other 2 belts. He hops right in the ring. It was like Naoya Inoue is looking at them like, you guys, this is what you want? All right, I'll fight you next. Man, right place, right time, man. And these guys know at the lower weight division, they're not making that kind of money. Neither is Naoya Inoue, and he's the best. So if you can get in a fight with him, he's the lottery fight. This is life-changing money here. No one, they were willing to sell those belts for that money. Hell yeah. Alan Tapali was like, what? Give me 2 point whatever million. Let's get it. Right? And whatever they made on, I don't know, on the back end. I'm not in the office. Right? So everything lined up for him. Like boom, 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 boom. and he pulled it off. The one thing you have to do is you got to perform and be able to pull it off. Cat's out of the bag now. The world knows who he is. I don't think you're going to have a lot of guys just eager to sign up to fight him. But the fact that he made himself such a big draw, that's enticing to other fighters. What makes me fight you is that kind of money I can't refuse. That's going to change my family's life. Now I'm willing to go in there in the ring. It's worth it. I lose, fuck it. All right. I gave it my best, but I know they paid me accordingly. So that's what I would do it for, right? Not every time everybody as a champion admits to himself, yeah, I'm the greatest fighter in the world. Some champions are fortunate enough to get where they got. Rolly. You think Rolly wanted to go out and unify all those belts? Hell no. Rolly was happy with where he was at with the WBC World Champion, and he had to defend that shit. His career's been a struggle just trying to hold on to that one belt. Rolly wasn't going to go unify anything. He didn't have the skills to do it, and we knew it. But he was happier where he got in his career. Legitimately, he was a world champion. Not every guy has got your vision or your, no, then don't get in the sport. That's your vision. That's what you perceive to do. Not everybody has those same plans. What's wrong with winning one belt and just defending it against the guys in your ranking system? When I fight my mandatory, I'm free to fight whoever I want after that. You can move up from weight. You could come down a big name. We can fight for a money grab fight. Yeah, just like Lara did with Danny. Lara fought his mandatory, and he had no obligations to no one. Danny came and skipped the line, and people were like, how is Danny Garcia skipping the line? Lara can do that. He had no mandatories. He's a champion. What benefits is it to have a world title, and what benefits do you get from being a champion? You can grab these money fights when you complete and you fulfill your obligation to your belt. That's the benefit of being champion. But some people in this sport don't get it. They only think inside of a box. That's why they always get blindsided. They don't know the ins and outs of boxing. They're always they got locked in on that. The best fighting the best. And Bob, yeah, it sounds good. That sounds good. But the truth of the matter is, I can't make that man fight him. I can't. You guys, best fighting the best. Well, maybe he's not the best. Maybe he's happy with what he got. Maybe he could be successful in his ranking system and still have that belt a lot longer in history when it's all said and done for his career. But yet you want him to go out there and get beat up, his belt taken, and go back to obscurity because you feel like, oh no, best fighting the best. Well, you know what? Not everybody wants that shit. And that's it. Muhammad Ali never unified. He's a duck. Because he didn't go get other belts? What are you saying? That's not how that works. You got to make offers, man. And then you have to have these guys that want the same vision. You get two guys in the division that are like, yo, I want to unify. Let's go. Who wants it? And then the other guy's like, yo, you know what? I want to unify. Well, then let's go. You know, that's when it becomes easier. Like what happened with him. Everybody was coming after him and he was going after them. And when all the dust settled and the smoke cleared, he was on top. He was on top in the World Series of Boxing. He was on top when it came to all the title defenses. He was on top when they came for his throne to test him for the 4 belts in 2 separate weight division. He was on top. And today he stays on top. We expect to see what he's going to do in December, but what we really want to see is him moving up to 126 is where we feel like the better challenges are going to be. But we also got our answer last night that the Bruce Carringtons of the world is not ready for no Naoya Inoue. And I still ain't seen that interview that you texted and said, yo, did you see Inoue saying that he wanted Bruce Carrington, that he was ready for him? I can't find it. So if anybody can send me the link or whatever, I would like to see that. And that was just before the fight, because I seen the one he did in New York. Like, that's old shit. Like the one when he was talking in New York in the ring. I seen all that shit. But somebody had dropped a text in the chat last night, and they were like, did you see the interview? And I'm going on the impression that it was a new interview leading into this fight, that he was just saying before this fight that he wants the smoke from Naoya Inoue and that he's ready for him today, and that he was going to go in the ring and show us with his performance. Now, that's what I'm the assumption that happened. So if there's a video of that, I want to see that. Trump, Mark, what are you guys talking about over here? I see you both going back and forth here. Gomes was amazing. Proven track record, but no. We all know that. We're not talking about the huge mistake he made by going up to 126. That's why I only talked about him as a champion at 122 and his reign at 122. I stopped it right there. The horror story is that way. I didn't open that door. You know what I'm saying? Why you had to open up old wounds, okay? I didn't want to do that, okay? I knew that, all right? Why don't we just close that door, all right? Nothing to see here, all right? Right? No, but seriously, yeah, he got beat bad up there, but before that, he was, bro, 32 fights, 100% knockout ratio, 17 world championship fights, all 17 he won by knockout. His world championship run reign at 122 is 100% knockout ratio, defending titles. It's fucking amazing. That was just one belt, my guy. And I'm not prepared to call him a fucking duck. No other champion wanted to fight him. He went on defending his belt. He was bored. He was basically going through the division twice at the time. Then he went up and made a huge mistake, moved up one division to 126, and the rest is history. Unfortunately, the guy that beat him, Sergio, like, he died in a car accident. He did this, that's when he didn't lose in the ring, man. Life tragically cut his life short. We used to see more of Sergio like that, man. He was a great fighter, bro. He might have went down as the best Mexican fighter ever. I can't give him that because he died and his career wasn't. He was a kid when he died. He was in his early 20s. What was he, 23 years old when he died? Jesus Christ. Like, he was a baby. He was a baby when he beat my guy from Puerto Rico. He made him look like the Elephant Man. His mom, it was that kind of beating. So, he could have, there was a potential that he probably would have went down as the best Mexican fighter of all time had he stood alive. That there's a strong argument for that. We'll never know, unfortunately, but I think he would have been better than Julio Cesar Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez was defeated after he had like 90 straight professional wins, right? He was like 90 and 0 with like a ridiculous amount of knockouts. Julio Cesar Chavez, like, people were begging him to stop fighting. Yo, just stop right now. 90 and 0, bro. No one would ever catch that record right now in modern time. Like, just stop. And he could not stop fighting. He had to go out there one more time. That man, that was his crack cocaine right there. Julio Cesar Chavez. He was addicted to fighting. He needed a 12-step to stop fighting. That's all he was. He was just like, in his sleep, he fights. You know what I mean? That's what kind of man he is. He couldn't stop, man. When do you get to the point where you're like, no one's going to touch my record? 60 and 0, 70 and 0, 80 and 0, 90 and 0. He kept pushing the envelope, kept pushing the envelope. Eventually, somebody was going to beat you. He had a lot of miles on him. If you didn't know this about Julio Cesar Chavez, right? The one thing he didn't he he didn't do in the gym, he didn't hit pads and he didn't hit the heavy bag. Julio Cesar Chavez. He didn't hit the speed bag. He jumped rope and he jogged, right? He wouldn't do he would do some cardio. Yeah, he would do cardio. The only thing Julio Cesar Chavez did in the boxing gym was spar. 7 days a week. If he could spar 7 days a week, Julio Cesar Chavez would spar 7 days a week. And back then, it was like pure gladiator school. So if he got 90 professional fights up to that point, right? He got more than that, but when he got to that point in his career, right? How many fights do you think he's had career-wise? Amateur, all the sparring fights he fought in the gym. If year-round, 7 days a week, this is basically what he did. He said the best experience was actually fighting someone. The bag don't hit back. That looks cool, hitting the spinning bag. It looks cool, but you're not doing this in a fight. At what point are you doing this in a fight? At what point are you luring yourself to sleep that says you feel comfortable throwing this combination? Julio Cesar Chavez was under the impression the only way to find that out, he's got to have somebody else throwing punches back. He put himself in a lot of boxing situation, worked on a lot of different angles, came against every style you can think of. And every time he was in the gym, he was going full speed in the gym sparring. He would knock out one training partner, get the other guy next, knock that one out, get next, go 12 rounds with this one next. He was a fucking maniac, that dude. He was a maniac. I used to hear people talk about him in gyms and shit, man, and tell stories about, like fighters that sparred against him, fighters that were around him, a lot of different of the Mexican. There's 1,000 videos of fighters talking about what they saw, what they thought about him, coaches. He was an animal. He was a real fighter. He was truly born to fight. That's it. There was nothing else for like men like that, like men like him and Mike Tyson, right? Mike Tyson was on a podcast show, right? And they asked him, Mike, if you couldn't be a boxer and boxing didn't exist, what would you be? He said, I'd be a criminal. I'd be a criminal. He said, because all I want to do is fight. And that's why you got to have outlets for this, for young men like that. There are men in this world that were truly born to fight and to be warriors and to, there's beauty in combat sports. There's, to fight after fight, to go down that road of becoming the best version of yourself. How far can you bring your skills? The unknown. If I'm this good and I did this to this guy, can I do it to the next? It's kind of like when you first get your first girlfriend. If I could do this to her, can I do this to her? You know how my men think, right? That's our machismo talking to us, right? And sometimes the little guy does a lot of the talking, right? But that's where you want to test yourself. You ask yourself, if I could be him, can I do this? And if I'm this good now, what if I work out and I learn more? And then you go out and you do something else and you're like, I like how I'm improving, but I can get better. Right? So in that sense, people need boxing. People need combat sports. When you watch these guys fight, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but after the fight, look at Mayer and Ryan. Before the fight, they didn't shake hands. They was like, touch gloves, and nope, we ain't touching gloves. We fighting. After the fight, they met they hugged. You know what I'm saying? Like these fighters, like, when you fight a guy that brings the best out of you and you bring the best out of him, you gain a respect as a warrior from that guy. And at the end of the fight, you can't do nothing but congratulate him for bringing that fighter out of you and perhaps making you face adversity, making you decide, this is my path. This is what I want to be. And in moments like that, some people shy away. They're like, man, nah, this shit ain't for me. This was just too much, right? And then some people, right, embrace it. They embrace it. And like, look, I love to see my fighter get better the next outing. I love when I watch my fighter, or any fighter for that matter, in my position, where that I don't really have a set fighter, but I always love to see the new talents, the current fighters, and the ones that are coming up perform well. So yeah. What's up, Jonathan? How you doing? Said my name. I thought you needed my attention immediately, like you were trying to get my attention. Let's see what these guys are chatting up over here. We got Trump in the building. Okay. Yeah, that's all, like, politics, debating and shit like that. But no, look, we touched on the fights last night. We touched on the Devin Haney situation. You know what I mean? We touched on all of that. I'm gonna just go ahead right here and drop this link right here. If everybody wants to hop on, I'll give you the opportunity to share any of your opinions. You know, we don't have to disrespect each other to get our points across. If you want to debate anything, talk about anything, I just dropped the link right there. There's the restream link right there. You can hop on and share your opinions on this whole Devin Haney thing. If you feel like, Devin Haney's within his rights to do so, and that you feel that this is the right move for him, and come on and express why. If you feel not, and you have another viewpoint on it, you can talk about it. You could talk about Naoya Inoue, his kid brother. That's what I forgot to do. I apologize. One of you guys asked me to see if the Casemiro fight is still on for October 13th. And that's what I had to do. Let me write this shit down. I think I might have wrote it down in my pad last night. That's what I was writing down. I got it over there. Let me look through it. But I gotta make sure that I go look that up for you guys to see if Casamera is everything is scheduled and stuff. I know that now Inoue kid brother is gonna fight and so forth. Junto Nakatoni, there's a lot of moving parts here. Like as we can see last night in boxing. Boxing will put you in position to win, but you definitely got to do the winning. You definitely got to do the winning. And I think that Bruce Carrington last night, he got by one. He got by he got by one. Right? So I hope he gets more focus. Yeah, I hope he gets more focus. But for Xander Zion, man, congratulations to you, young man. you look phenomenal. You look great. You came in there, you handled your business. I felt that uh he's shown improvement. He's adding wrinkles to his fight plan, better selection of punches. His defense was better. Um, everything. I gave him an A. Um, uh, I want to give him an A plus, but I would think the fans would think I would be biased and shit, right? And I questioned myself. I'm like, yo, E, are you seeing him? But I was for an assessment. I'm not saying I'm giving him an A plus to making him an elite fighter. No, I'm not grading him like that. I'm grading him based on himself. From what I saw his last fight compared to this fight. You can't say that I give him an A plus and all of a sudden I think he's Terrence Crawford. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying grade on his performance of that fight. So I just want to keep that, and last night I would love to give him an A plus, and I don't think that would be being biased, man. I really don't. But a part of me feels like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, you see the Spanish flag, whatever. Well, he's just giving him an A plus because he's like really like, you know, and no, I have no ties to Xander Zion. He owes me nothing. I owe him nothing. You know, I just think that based on how he put it together, yeah, he got an A plus. I liked everything about him, from his footwork to his game plan to the work he was doing in the fight, his cardio. Um, I like his power. I liked his power in the fight, but it was just that guy was really strong. He had a really strong guy in front of him. So yeah. So I that's what I took from the fight. What's next for the young man? Where does he go from here? He winning these kind of small belts, defending them. It really allows you to see where your fighter's at in his career. Your management, you guys all make a decision whether or not you're ready for the next step, the next level. You really don't want to lie to your fighter and boost him up like he's ready for that. Like Ed Hearn did to Edgar Berlanga. I thought that was kind of absurd. Like, first fight you get with Edgar Berlanga, he's coming off a performance, and Ed Hearn's yelling, "Yeah, he's ready for Saul." You didn't find that kind of peculiar? And you know that Saul's looking for a fight that he could kind of like sweep under the rug, pad his stats a little bit more, because he's ready to leave, right? I think Saul's building for one fight. He's not going to have all these wars, right? And he might be building and waiting for that one particular fight. I'm not sure if we ever get it right now because of everything that's played out between him and David the Monster Benavidez. I'm not sure if that'll ever be a fight that we'll ever get. That'll be another fight where like, either two things are happen. Right? Like Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, right? We end up getting that fight 8 years too late. 8 years too late. Okay. And then we finally got it. And didn't really quite live up to what we thought. They were already both really past their primes. Floyd was actually older than Manny Pacquiao coming into the fight. So he was the older one. So, yeah, it could either happen something like that, or we just don't get the fight at all. We never really get to see, definitively if Saul Canelo Alvarez was going to beat David the Monster Benavidez. Has Saul Canelo Alvarez gotten into that position in his career where he feels like, since my fans already say, "Oh, Saul, you'll beat David the Monster Benavidez. You'll beat him," right? Saul goes, "Oh, they already think I'll beat him? Then I must have beat him." Like, he's like giving himself this false credit in his head that I was going to beat him anyway. Is he doing that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. He's got me all messed up. Well, fight fans, listen, I think I'm gonna have to cut this one short right here. What's up? I'm on Frontline. How you doing, baby? I mean, cares about his money worth. Berlanga was ready or not. Yeah, promotional company didn't get their cut. Yeah, they were just gonna hang him out to dry, man. They were just cashing in on him early. They had this about him in the fight, and that's what they were gonna do. She's not here yet. Yeah, they were just gonna market him and get the best dollar out of him. That's what they were gonna do. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Mark, what's up? What'd you say, Mark, up here? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. What's up, Ghost Rider? How you doing, brother? All right, in the building. Carlos, you know, you know, this thing for Devin Haney, man. It's not looking good for him. And it seems like as the time's going on and the days are going by, it seems to be getting worse. I'm a little like turned off by Devin Haney and his approach to this. I don't think that fighters should be suing fighters. I think that, he was given a sentence. He was obligated to pay Devin Haney money back for each pound. Remember, he gave him like 1 point whatever $1 million for coming in overweight. He paid the penalties for that, went into the fight, and now he did this, and now he's paying penalties. He has to pay the sanctioning fees for that to the New York Boxing Athletic Committee, whatever to him. He got the O overturned. His name got smeared, and he got banned for a year. But according to Devin Haney, that's still not enough. Now he wants to sue him. That's not how you lost this fight. That's not how the fans and you know, you should get it back in the ring. That's where they started. That's where it should end. So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. I had an amazing show with you guys. I always love chopping it up. And please don't forget to give the videos a like. And if you haven't already, please join. I encourage you to join us here at Round One Sports Talk and subscribe to the channel. So, like always, I'm on to the next one after this one.